Hello, my name's Claire from Conscious Chemo, and here I am on top of a hill in the Lake District with the most stunning views. Solo trip up here in between my 14th and 15th round of chemotherapy-based treatment for breast cancer that I was diagnosed with last year. I finished my high-dose chemotherapy in January. It's now July, but I'm on a low dose until October. It was HER2 positive. So they tend to give you more medication for that. I've very much followed my own path. I haven't taken all the medication that I would historically have. I've been listening to my body throughout, consulting with my oncologist, and I've done an awful lot to support my body throughout this process, which you can hear about in other videos. But my word for this video that I'd like to share that I found super helpful throughout is minimize. Minimize, minimize, minimize. And that word's made a huge difference to my positive outlook. It's what's allowed me to be here now, and it's what's allowed me to drop fear, to trust the process, to trust my body, and to not let fear overtake my headspace. So it's a great word. If you find, for example, a lump and you're getting it checked out and you're waiting for results, it's very human and normal to have fear, doubt. Your mind starts racing away with all these possibilities of what might happen in the future. But if you can minimize that voice, the mind, turn down the dial of that mind. So it's still there in the background because we are human. So for people that say, well, just don't think about it, that's not really realistic because it's human nature for it to be on our mind. But if you can turn that dial down, so you're minimizing it as far as you can, and then turn up the volume of things that make you feel good, like spending time with your children, family, loved ones, focusing on your day-to-day, being kind to yourself, maybe going for a run, doing a yoga class, doing some breath work, whatever makes you feel good, or a positive way of distracting yourself, whatever your hobbies may be, creativity, then that can really help you to enjoy the time that you're waiting to find out what may or may not be, rather than feeling very anxious, overwhelmed, worried, stressed, and allowing your mind to race off and take you in multiple directions, which is understandable and very normal. So I'm really grateful that I was able to do that, so that during the time I was waiting for my triple test, I had an amazing time. It was August, summer holidays, the weather was great. So even though it was there in the background and I spoke about it to a few friends, I didn't let it take over, and I still had when I look back, I had a fantastic 2 weeks. And another example of that is actually the day before I came up here. Stepping out my comfort zone to come up here on my own was a big thing, 7-hour drive. Then I actually have had a swollen belly. It came up between rounds 3 and 4 of my high-dose chemo, and it's improved, but it's been bearing down on my bladder. I've had a few bladder issues. This might be an overshare, but my doctor, I went to see her because it's actually triggered a little bit of a prolapse. I've had surgery on my cervix 4 times. And that's quite a big deal, being a yoga and Pilates teacher that's teaching about pelvic floor and Mula Bandha a lot. But that's my reality. I have to meet myself here. That's where I am right now in my body. So that's a little bit disconcerting. So I'm on the waiting list to see somebody about that. But the doctor said she was going to give me a blood test to rule out ovarian cancer. And that was the day before I left to come here to the lakes. Now, I could have let that take over my mind and be really anxious and worried and stressed that when I get back, I'm having a blood test to see if I've got ovarian cancer. Now, it's been on my mind mildly, but I've got no fear around it because the chances are I haven't got it. It's just being ruled out of inquiries. And I think that's what can happen a lot in the medical field, where they're ruling things out. But as soon as you hear that word, it can instigate so much fear that then it takes your mind over and you can't think of anything else. So my suggestion is to try and turn the dial down until you know there's absolutely no point in worrying, but it's okay that it sits there because it's human nature. So it's not that we're saying don't think about it. It's turn down the dial, let it be in the background. It's just a little fuzzy thing over there, but make your day-to-day purposeful and meaningful so that it can just be in the background. And what an amazing place to be. I'm so grateful that I'm able to turn that dial down so I can really enjoy and lap up being here, and the beauty of it, the energy that I'm surrounded by, nature. This is what life's about. You know, it's free to come up here. It doesn't cost anything. And it's so liberating, energizing. So I hope that word has helped. Minimise. Ooh. Look forward to seeing you in the next video. If you're finding it difficult to minimise, then there's lots of breath practices and meditations that can help. And I'm wishing you all the very best of luck in your healing journeys. Sending loads of love. Bye.